In this live coding session, we want to take our game, which currently has a single hard-coded round, and express multiple rounds. How do we do that? We use a refactoring pattern called many of one. We also have a lot of discussion, interesting chat about AI. Come along. Welcome to another round of the Quality Coding live stream. Live coding, live mistakes. Welcome, Mudshark. Thank you. It's good to be back. I had a wonderful time away with grandson. I am that old. Hey, Grant. Good to have you both. Welcome to folks who are watching after the fact on the recording. Thanks for checking this out. So my name is John Reed. I am a developer and a technical coach. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. And I wrote that. You can find me here. And what else do I want to say? We are this series, or I like live coding. I enjoy it a lot. And in this particular series, we are working on Mastermind. Creating the game, doing it in SwiftUI, and doing it test-driven, and discovering things together along the way. Let's see here. What did we do last time? View Inspector has extra guides. Oh, that's right, extra documentation. So that was a discovery. Not that I made, one of you made. That there are View Inspector, which is the tool we use for unit testing SwiftUI views, has stuff that's not everything is accessible straight from the top level README. Good to know. Variadic parameters. This is something I enjoy doing in test code. It often makes the tests easier to read. We had a discussion last time about where do you TDD? Do you go from the view? Do you go from the view model? Do you even need to do it this way that we're doing it from the view? There are trade-offs. And we're trying it one way, but that's not the only way. Maybe we'll try it the other way next time. All these things, by the way, you can find, they're no longer on Twitch because Twitch doesn't keep recordings that long, but they are on YouTube. If you want to check out any of these ancillary discussions. Had advice on becoming an expert. Factory method for the view greatly simplified the code. I don't remember that, but now I kind of want to see it. There it is. Factory method for the peg view. Oh. Let's have a look at this. I just want to, there. Oh, yes. It made, yeah. Look at how it cleans this up. I know there's still some of you who want to make this more flexible, but I think it's fine hard-coded as 0, 1, 2, 3. So that was neat. And moving functionality up and down the layers of abstraction, always a fun thing to do. What are we working on today? Starting from the top, we are, so we've got our older discovery trees here. And we are working on Mastermind, the game, getting feedback when you check the guess button to show feedback about the guess and to show feedback as colored pegs. We wanted to distinguish the empty feedback from filled, something that actually has a peg in it. We were looking at this and this was inconclusive. Can we avoid having both the array and the index in the peg view? This sounds familiar because we tried it. It seemed like, we don't need to be passing this whole array and index around, but there are pros and cons, and we discovered that it wasn't that straightforward. Let's see if we can find where it is. This was in feedback peg view. It is? Hey, Psychic. Hi, John. Thought of you the other day working on a new contract. Congratulations. And they somehow are still using mocks for testing. Yeah. Oh. James. Thank you. All right. Thank you for identifying yourself so I could place you. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, Eric. It's a funny thing. Any sort of learning goes through swinging back and forth through extremes until you sort of find the nice middle ground. When I started learning design patterns, then I wanted to use them everywhere, which then showed me that it wasn't appropriate, that patterns are contextual. But that was the swing that was necessary for me to learn there's a way to use patterns. Same with mocks or test doubles. Mocking in particular. Exactly, Mudshark. If you've not written your code in a testable fashion, then mocks are still become an important dependency breaking technique. But then it's easy for people to think that's how you write tests, when it's like, well, what if you didn't? What if it could be simpler? What if you used the whole system, as much of it as you can, to simulate more of the user experience and less, you still have to isolate the actual edges of the system. But yeah. Oh my gosh. 20. Okay, so that's a code smell. What is the name of that code smell? Shoot. But the the refactoring that addresses that code smell is to create a parameter object. Basically, how many of those 20 parameters can be coalesced? How many of them belong together? And if they belong together, can we just make them their own thing? Like, it feels like there's another object instead of all those fiddly bits. But thank you for sharing that. Oh, man. Wow. All right. So I don't remember. Let's take a look. The index. We're looking for the index and I don't see it. There it is. Okay, we hid it in the factory method. Maybe that was our solution. I just don't remember because I don't see the stink I was expecting. It looks like the factory method took care of the stink. All right. Well, in that case, that's done. Whoop. Not lime. Not that. In which case, now, working back up, we have successfully distinguished that. And I think we are now done with showing the ability to show feedback. Let's see. Do, 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 say. Yeah. I don't know if you can make that out, but the holes with the pegs in them, the black and white pegs, they're just a little bigger, and so it indicates that that is filled rather than the empty slot. Great. I think we're ready to move on. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, and I wanted to try, and maybe I need to spend a little less time doing recap, but it's good for me to do a recap when I've been away for 2 weeks off, so it's been 3 weeks since we last met, is I want to try an experiment. This was based on someone's request to make these streams a little shorter. I know, initially we started at 1 hour and we felt like we weren't making enough progress. And so you all suggested making it longer. And 90 minutes was working. It works great for a stream. But here's the thing I'm feeling. Well, the feedback from one person, and I know it's just one person's feedback and you can counter it, was, oh man, I can't join for the whole thing. Which of course, maybe you don't have to join for our whole stream. But the other, I've started to think, I've got so much content we've learned and discovered that I haven't had a chance to blog about. The whole goal of this has been to learn how to do TDD with SwiftUI so that I could write about it. And there's stuff I want to write that I feel like this is racing ahead now faster than I can write about it. So I want to try maybe going back to an hour-ish, if that's okay. I want to try it as an experiment. Making this fit on different screens, that is a thing maybe we should look at. I'm not sure how it fits into showing feedback about the guess. I feel like this check guess button bit is done. So let's pull this out and we can decide if we want to do it or not. But I want to say, hey, look at this. Green, we've got the check guess button. I think feedback is working fine. What is the next step? In terms of the game, it is to have rounds. We have our feedback here, but this is one round. We need multiple rounds. We haven't done a single round. We've gone in now, however many commits deep we are in this project, without discovering, needing the concept of rounds. So that is the next big thing to begin to tackle. As far as different screens, so what do you want to do, folks? Hello, we got 10 folks on here. Thank you for joining. This is TDD and SwiftUI. What to do, what to do. I think multiple rounds would be more interesting, especially from a TDD perspective. Getting things to fit on different screens, that's sort of view fiddling. And I think that would be interesting, probably valuable for me, but it wouldn't involve TDD. That's just sort of layout stuff. So why don't we park this somewhere else? Maybe we should, let me quickly review some of these other notes. Nah, they're fine. Why don't we make a new tree? Are these all locked? Hopefully not. Let's just bring these down. Slap them in here. Stick it up there. And begin. Oh, it's just a frame. It's not a group. All right. Not going to worry about that. So, multiple rounds is our next goal. Haha. Let's think about this. What is the test? What is the functionality that we want? Having given the feedback, so the components we have now are yeah, I'll relock certain things and go back and clean up the mural. I don't think you want to watch me do that. So we've got code choices, feedback, and pegs. The game is kind of, I mean, a game should have multiple rounds. There's the guess. We have a single guess, and the guess provides probably then we get feedback for that guess. The secret and the secret maker. Where does feedback come from? Or who's in charge? A state machine? Don't know. So the game seems to be, that's an interesting idea, James. The game holds all the pieces right now. It has the secret maker. Entering an exit state runs code as, yeah. I remember you getting into state machines when we were back at Amex. At least I did some around displaying a modal. It was kind of cool. So the game has the secret maker, the secret size. It has, so the game seems to be like a good place to look at, like, what's going on here. It's got the secret size. It's got the code choices. Those are the colors you can choose from. And it has the guess. I think basically we need rounds. Each round has a guess. Or rounds contains an array of guesses. We'll see. It's got the secret, and then if we just look at the functionality, we know whether it's complete. We know whether the game is complete. This is crying out for triangulation there because that's like the guess is complete. You get one guess. Well, so we're going to need a concept of what round are we on? Let's just start jotting some of these things down. What round are we on? There are up to 10 rounds, yeah. Where you might win. You could win on the first round. But you don't lose until you go to the 10th round and fail. So these are some things. Is it a win? It's a win if the secret matches the guess. So there's a lot around the guess. That feels like we need to go to many of one. Use the many of one pattern. I think that would be a great step. And we need to render each of them. Thank you. Draw each. Well, actually, we need to draw all 10. Ultimately. Right? Yeah. That is how the game goes. Kind of like that. There is a nice little something we don't need in order to do multiple rounds is the ability to say, I want to guess on this particular peg. Right now, you get that for free by just selecting the color and it advances which one. So we don't have this notion. You've got your state machine all worked out in your head. That's pretty cool. I think this might be enough for us to start with. And I think this is a good starting point. The sizes of all these. The legend is small. I was using the legend. So if we change this now into a to-do item instead of a note, what do we need to do? I don't know. We'll discover it. Let's start. This is discovery. You discover by doing. one of the things that I find strange about where I work right now is there is like go off and discover how to build the thing. Is don't don't necessarily build the thing, just go research about it. It's like, yeah, oh, draw the empty guesses. Well, let's start with many of one. But that is a good shoot. That's a good one to put in for the next one. That's what's going on here. Has there been a change in Miro or how it does multiples? There. That's just the OCD in me coming out. Yes, that is a fabulous thing. So if we think about the steps, if we switch to many of one, and then we draw the empty ones, and then we'll see. So I was saying, at work, there's this concept. They say, this is a discovery task. Go off basically and do research about the code. Essentially come up with a document. It's like, that ain't agile. The code, the work is discovered in the doing of it. A spike is not quite the same thing. In a way, it can be. A spike I think of as, can this thing be done? And if so, it just seems more, a spike seems more focused to me. And especially the emphasis on a spike is that you throw it away. The thing you take away from a spike solution is the learning. Let's make some notes of some of the fun things we are discussing here. Hello, first time chatter, Unsachmo. Thank you for joining in the chat. Welcome. I think discovery is fine, but it has to be super short. I'm talking half a day to 2 days max, and 2 days is forever. And the thing that frustrates me about it is kind of like, let's code. I don't want to be a cowboy coder, but it is, do I? I think one of the differences between, alrighty. I think I know who you are. We had coffee outside of a certain campus. Glad to have you. So the key difference for me is the ability to work in iterative fashion. I'd say iteration is better than a big plan. And to do that, a group has to be okay with code that's iterative, code that is incomplete, but that what is there is perfectly functional. And people complain, say, it's not done. And say, yeah, it's not done. That's why God created feature flags. Yeah. Psychic, I think you nailed it. Discovery tends to be chasing down product people for requirements and discovering, yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's start doing many of one. The many of one pattern, I want to note here. Our goal, we have a guess. We want to turn this into a thing with multiple guesses, like maybe just an array. I know, a raw array that's primitive, which we'll probably get away from. But we'll do that by turning it into an array of one guess. Yeah, I want to be psychic. I want to be in my ideal world, and I have worked this way on a team that worked this way, is we are pushing to main all the time, directly pushing to main and deploying. As often, the deployment happens as often as can happen, depending on the platform. But that's how you roll. So, many of one is a pattern named, created by Llewellyn and Falco, or discovered by Llewellyn and Falco. Let us see how we can do that. Let me do a quick Got one under the katas. Many of one. Grant says any useful tool can be twisted or misapplied. Oh yeah. To produce undesirable results. Oh yeah. And we have considerable problem with linguistic drift. I like that term. In our industry, which leads to the original meaning and purpose being replaced with counterproductive terms. For example, agile, refactor, stand up, all get significantly misused these days. Preach. Yes, preach it. This is most of the OG extreme programmers and agilists I know have stopped using the word agile because they're like, it's poison now. Okay. Convert. Most of the problem is that software management doesn't want to actually change the shape of how they work. Oh, that is a significant problem. Because software development is more than coding. And that's something coders need to recognize. Convert single value to an array of one value, convert into loop over that array of one value, add a second value. And this is the method. Let's do it. What happens? Let's just see what breaks. A whole bunch of stuff is going to break. Whole bunch of stuff, but it all seems to be localized right here inside of the game. Let's see. Yeah, I got one more error. No, I guess that's it. um, I mean, the simple, dumb way to kind of get this back. Yeah, I think we can just start with 0. Like this. Oh, this will totally bomb out because guess starts empty. Wait, no. It doesn't start empty. The initializer's got it. Is that it? Okay. Now we're interesting. We had to do all that before we could see the next round of errors. Guess first, possibly, but I just kind of want to bang this together right now. Like this is really crude, and I don't like it because I am now chasing errors. How long will this go? I don't know. Let's give it one more. Oh. Okay. Let's commit. Did I forget to turn on TCR? Yes. Ultimately, we will make a wrapper for this that is that holds the array and hides the current round and stuff, so forth. Let's see. Since I forgot to turn on TCR, let's do that now. Testing succeeds. I want it. If it succeeds, I want to commit and push. So let's go. Yeah, let me see if was it like that? There we go. So this this is a medium risk refactoring. Where so this is a script. Let me commit this. See if I can find this for you. This is a script that if with the behavior, there are two different scripts. There is commit and push upon success, and there's revert upon failure. If we enable both of them, we are doing full TCR, test and commit or revert. But the person I'm mentoring right now likes to use sort of half of it. So he's not using TCR, except it's like this is how he operates. He doesn't want it all to revert upon failure so that he can do regular TDD. But if stuff passes, oh, it is very scary and it's fun. Like that's TCR is a great thing to try. Um, Kent Beck describes how uh, he was talking about feedback patterns and loops and tightening them in a workshop. And one of the people in the workshop said, well, what if it reverts upon failure? And he said, that was such a horrible idea. I had to try it, which is one of the things about Kent's attitude that I love. And it is fun. It is fun. And this thing about TCR is when you lose stuff, then it's like, okay, I need to take smaller steps. But with it off, you get a sort of an enhanced TDD flow where as long as things are green, commit. And having done that, now, there's the commit I made, and you can see it has actually pushed to origin. So it is a fun, useful thing to do half of TCR. Let's note that. Sort of it's for it's like a simpler TDD workflow, traditional TDD. Knife juggling is a good way to put it. Try it. It's fun. Where'd it go? So I've got a couple of different commit versions here. Let me make this a little bigger. There's commit and push, which works great in an environment where either you're solo or you're actually with a team that is doing actual continuous integration. Commit and push is the way to go. If you're not doing immediate trunk-based development and have to go through some sort of pull request system, then try just the commit, and you can push whenever you feel like and however you want to. Vibe coding and TCR would be an interesting combination. I know vibe coding and TDD struggle, or rather, Kent is writing more about his what he's discovering about what he calls the genies. That the genie wants to take giant steps. These genies, the LLM coder assistants, want to jump straight to the finish using, I have, do I want to call it AI? Want to jump straight to the finish. And it's like, yeah, then I'm going to end up with crap code. And in fact, the research is showing that that is what is happening as more and more companies encourage or even require the use of AI. The code, it looks like people are being, it's easy to say, I feel more productive as an individual, but it's actually slowing down the team's ability to move quickly. And so that's confusing individual productivity with actual team productivity. So there are folks who are doing TDD with AI, and it is pretty cool. You have to coax it to take small steps. Let's see. We are discussing interesting things. let me just, I want to note this. AI increases individual productivity, decreases team productivity. And that is the crucial thing that we are discovering. Research bears this out. All right. So back to the game and back to TCR, not TCR, back to a single value to an array of one value, and we want then to loop over that or do the right thing. So every place where we have a hard-coded 0th index is ripe for something else, like the concept of current round, right? Eric says, I've been trying ping pong TDD. It's where you write the test and give LLM instructions to implement just as, oh, you write the test. How about having it write the test? So yeah, folks are doing this. I haven't done a lot of this. Llewellyn Falco is another one who's really leaning into AI-driven TDD. One thing he's discovered is that it is possible to end up with a situation where you end up with all the tests. You do end up with a test suite, and as long as it passes, he's developing this curious attitude of who cares if it's lousy code, because you have the tests, and that's the difference. And he's spending less time doing refactoring and more time saying, here are the tests. Here's the new test. Write whatever you need to pass all the tests, and struggling with it. There's interesting stuff going on out there. Okay, so tests I care less about. This is the stuff. We need we need rounds. I think we need a rounds. So what I'm imagining is something like rounds that has like guesses and current round. Yeah, something like that. This is what I imagine for rounds. A synthesizer plugin? You mean like a whatchajiggy, an audio, like a VST style thing? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love this comment. I have absolutely had to airdrop in to untangle the poor little guy. One thing that I'm discovering, the GitHub Copilot has been working pretty well in this very small project. It absolutely falls down at work on a big project. Like it just can't. Partly because there's things that are, there's a lot of architecture, and maybe some of it is over architecture. But it doesn't understand, like, in order to create this, you have to change this piece and that piece. And some people are reporting better results by switching to VS Code. You like doing their AI stuff, or Cursor even. I mean, Cursor is just VS Code with AI built in. So getting outside of Xcode can be a good way to do that. VS Codium? I don't know that. Interesting. Oh! Is that what it is? Oh, brilliant. Without the telemetry. Wonderful. Brilliant. So let's start to... We are still refactoring. There's nothing in here that's asking for the creation of a round. But we can refactor towards that by having current round basically always be 0. Like that. So let's start trying this. Let's see if we can't encapsulate our way there. And move this. How do we want to do this? You know, I was going to put it in a different file, but why? Like, why not have it live there? Nice. We'll have to check that out. We won't tell. So this is not currently used, but it should just, so it won't break anything. This is, I would say, initially, it's a refactoring. Now can we define rounds? Where the init will say rounds, not quite. I'm not inlining it, I'm copying it. So, yep, doing a parallel change. Like right now, this should be able to, let's note this. Where's my tree? Create game holds rounds. Now, How much of this are we actually going to be able to get away with? Let's find out. We don't know. Like if there's a guess sitting out here, this is tricky for parallel change. I'm struggling with having the guess sit out here when I really want to reference that guess inside of here instead. I wonder if we can do this by making a I kind of like that idea, Mudshark. Like, what if we forget? Noting down some of this stuff. Swift enums allowing subtypes makes this type of game state fairly easy to reason on. Definitely enums and state machines, you know, go hand in hand. What if, let me clean this up. Actually, let me revert, because I'm not sure where I am right now. What if this could be a class instead? Let's try that. We're basically doing that. I don't know, Kinetic Legend. Because we might want to have all the guesses pre-populated. It's unclear at this point. So with that guess out here, and I'm trying now to swap this guess out basically into it. I'm wondering if I can say, turn this into a computed property. Yeah, there's Copilot being useful. Like, imagine this might work. Oh, that goes away. Huzzah! Huzzah! What did we just do? We have we just took guess and swapped it into place. This is an interesting thing. Okay. This seems like a technique. I don't want to leave this here, But this gives us the ability now to replace each of these in turn, one at a time. Ah, Mudshark. You do not trust the tests. Sometimes it is good not to trust the tests, especially in mobile work. Do, 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 do. Yep. And that's it. That's all. Since that's all the functionality I have, that's all the manual testing I need to do. But I'm fine actually pushing that straight and finding out later. Okay, let's continue here from next time. But this seems like a useful technique. What do you want to call this? It's, so that worked. We are still doing parallel change. Whoop, I meant green. The part of the parallel change would be, right now we're guaranteed not to crash. Like, I absolutely trust that we have guess 0 in place. I know that seems weird, but otherwise you have to unwrap guess first. But I know it's there, and we're going to move away from it. Eric, I wonder, you've talked about using the AI thing that will analyze your commit and come up with like an automated AI assisted commit message. It would be kind of cool if TCR could just be like, just commit and describe it. Now, what I really wish we could do is to have it describe it using Arlo's commit notation. To do that, we'd have to teach the LLM, this is the notation. 3:30 a.m.? Holy crap, Mono. Like, are you in New Zealand? Jiminy. Holy moly. So is this a facade? It's sort of, it's the creation of an object, but the step we are taking, I want to describe this before we finish. And I did, sorry, Mono, I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do shorter streams these days. Or rather, this is an experiment starting today. So I intend to wrap up pretty soon. So you can stay up. Oh, man. Oh, that engineering Alexandra? We have that in... Did I already get rid of that? In here. This is a tool you can use. You don't even have to use TCR with it. It doesn't have to revert, but it can automatically commit if the tests pass, which is very cool. Yeah. Man, I want to note this. Like, what would be cool? I love the idea of a tool that just did it. And maybe you review it. So what is this technique? What do we call this? Guess used to exist outside. Essentially, we've dropped it inside of rounds. Right there, there it is. It's called guesses now. It's like this computed property becomes a little redirect, which we intend to get rid of. That is very, very cool. And so the next step will be to switch, let me just note this. Switch away from the computed property. That will be where we can continue next time. Oh man, I hate to leave. But I think I want to call it. So what have we done? We have started a new discovery tree for basically a new feature. And we have started with many of one. Doing a parallel change and discovering this. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this. I also like that GitHub Copilot just sort of dropped it in. All I had to do was comment out the old guess, left it there so that it could read it, and it dropped it in. Thanks, you guys, for sharing all this cool stuff. I'm intrigued by the idea of making the TCR flow even more seamless. So that's a wrap. All right. Ending a little early, a little more than an hour, but less than 90 minutes. Trying to get shorter. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Really spirited discussions, especially about AI. And thank you for joining. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, except for our friend in Australia, Mono. Oh man, good night. Get some sleep and have a good week. For folks who are watching after the fact on YouTube, hey, if you watched this far, do give it a like. Put any comments, any questions in the YouTube comments. I'll get to them. And again, my hope is by limiting the it's an experiment to limit the length of these streams so that I have more time to write, because and maybe I don't know about catching up. Like, I'm not going to write about Mastermind, but I want to take some of these ideas and apply them to the thing I am writing about, which is simply a counter app. That is where, well, I've got the TDD with SwiftUI thing, and this is the app I am writing about. A simple counter, much easier than Mastermind. Anyway, that's it. Peace out. Have a good one. Take care, y'all. Fight fascism. And remember that finding joy in life, like this, is one way of fighting fascism. That's it.